Hi, this is Fiona at Digital Landscapes, and today we are going to take a look at the Drape tool in SketchUp. It is used primarily for working with terrains and to be able to draw your site plan on top of a terrain or a mesh or some kind of more complex surface. So I'm going to actually start. This is the example project or one of the example projects we use in our SketchUp terrain modelling course, and it's to create this model. So as you can see, there are kind of quite a lot of different elements. There's a bank, there's some steps, a path with a couple of sloping elements, a driveway, and then in the rear it gets much more hilly. Quite hard to see where the plants are, I'll turn them off. And you can see that it's, sloping in a number of different ways, and the terrain has been manipulated to meet the steps and the wall and so on. And in other cases, we've cut in to put the steps in. So going back to this file, this is the site plan, and this is the mesh that we're using. If I turn on hidden geometry, you'll see, and I move around, you will be able to see that it is quite sloping. This is obviously quite a simple example. I'm going to turn off the hidden geometry, and in its simplest form, what I will do is I will select the plan, which is directly above. So I've moved up, and I have made sure it's locked onto the blue axis. So if you're in any doubt, you hold down Shift. You can see that line highlights when I hold down the Shift key. And it's directly above this surface mesh. And if I go to Tools and Sandbox and Drape, then it says select the mesh on which you want to drape. I'm looking down here on the left hand corner, and I click. It's going to create an imprint of that mesh of the plan onto the mesh. There are a couple of problems with this, in that the trees and the cars are there, which I don't want. So those trees and cars are actually on separate layers. And if I turn them off, so cars are off and tree 2D is off, select the plan again, press space, select it, Tools, Sandbox, Drape, and I click my mesh, you'll see that they're still there. This is obviously really annoying, and it is just an error with SketchUp in that it still tries to drape stuff that you've hidden. So what you will do, or what I will do, is undo, and what you will do is turn on the things that you do not want to show, and you're going to have to manually select them all like this. I'm just Shift, click, 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 and get the two cars. Oh, that's really annoying. I will just have to go into that group, paste them in place, get the cars, which are in a separate group. Right, so I've selected all of those, and I'm going to cut them. Escape out of the group, and then I'm going to do the same thing again. So I am going to select the plan, Tools, Sandbox, Drape, click on the mesh, and this time nothing unwanted has been, the imprint has not been created of unwanted objects. I'm going to go back into this plan group, and I'm going to go to Edit and Paste in Place and put back the things that I cut. So Paste in Place puts them back in the same place. Because they were completely taken off the drawing board, there was no chance that they were going to be draped in error. So that is how you will do it. If I just go back to our sample plan, so this is what we would actually work through in one of the courses, or one of the examples. So the first step is you're going to drape the terrain. You then need to decide how you're going to handle all these different elements. So in the case of the steps, I just made a hole and I recreated the steps, except you can see there are errors where the grass does not meet the steps. So you're then going to have to use other tools, such as the From Contours tool, or creating a mesh with the Artisan toolkit or the Smooth tool and recreating that. You're going to have to add your walls, and in this case I think they've just been pushed through the surface. You'll notice here that SketchUp 25 gives you a nominal ground surface, and when you look up through it, it's hazy, which is why this is happening as if you're looking up through the fog. Not very helpful for us. And then you're basically going to be working your way through. I'm not going to do this because I'm going to distill hours of a course into a video. But yeah, they're just different techniques that you'd use for different purposes, whether that's cutting holes from the terrain and inserting things in it, or push and pulling flat things through. deleting some terrain and replacing them. If I just put the hidden geometry on, you'll see this is a much more simple mesh that we've created with the From Contours tool, and you just basically go around and add in the detail you need step by step. So it's a methodical process. So when it comes to working with terrains, and if you've ever met me and I've taught you in real life, I will always say work flat. Do as much as you can with a flat and or very simple terrain, as in this driveway. You know, it's just been created out of flat lines, out of straight lines, just to fill the space. Once you start working with terrain, your life becomes much more complicated. So save it for those times when it's really important. You know, as an example here, this lawn at the front, it did not need to be the real terrain. I could have done it very easily by just straight line here, straight line up there, some straight lines straight, and then straight back down here. And you really wouldn't read it. So yeah, when you can, try and keep it as simple as possible. Much easier just to draw a frame with some lines and then use the From Contours tool, which I'm about to do a video on now. So yes, that summarises that. Move your plan above, cut anything that you don't want imprinted on it, and select the flat plan, go to Tools and Sandbox and Drape, and then you'll be able to click on that terrain mesh and it will create an imprint. You think of a cookie cutter, you're just creating lines. There are times when it doesn't work perfectly. So what you want is to be able to do this, and each surface will be a different each surface will be a different surface. You'll be able to colour it in and you won't get any bleed between them. Sometimes you get very small gaps. When that happens, it does get a bit laborious. You're going to have to work through. Probably the easiest way is to put on the hidden geometry, which is what I just did. I've got it on a keyboard shortcut. I've got it on I. You can go to SketchUp and Settings and Keyboard Shortcuts and set your own keyboard shortcuts up. Yeah, if you ever get any bleed through, the most surefire way to handle it is to put the hidden geometry on and just go and work through like this. And then the one where the bleed is, you'll see it really quickly, rather than painstakingly zooming right in over every line, which is the alternative. Anyway, hope that helps. Let us know how you get it on in the comments.